conventions lesson is talking about the word there and nouns that make up the subject. First, let's review. Here are some hints for your proof. The first there that we've talked about is the contraction there. Two words, they are, make up this contraction there. But notice that I made the apostrophe blue. This apostrophe is symbolizing that there's a letter missing. So it's kind of telling you, hey, hint, hint, there's a letter missing in this. That letter is the letter A. It's a bit of a shortcut, a faster way to say they are. So in this instance, there equals they are. That's also the proof, they are. If they are make sense, then you're using the correct kind of there. In the second kind of there, it's a bit of a directional term, and so the proof with this one is here, and notice that the hint is the proof is right there in the word. You can see the word here. That's kind of fun, isn't it? I don't know if you noticed that before, but that's how you can remember that the proof is, does that word make sense? Just there, okay, insert the word here. It's not a synonym necessarily, but does it make sense? Yes, okay, it's the correct kind of there. Here is more proof. Look at this kind of there again, T-H-E-R-E. We can put an arrow on the R so we can picture that when we're writing. Like if we said, hey, will you get me that pool toy over there? It's directional, so that arrow is reminding us that that's that kind of there. Today's there is T-H-E-I-R. This really is about people. This kind of there, and I'm going to show you in a moment what I mean. But here is a stick person in the place of the I to help us remember that. The proof for there is the word our. Let's read the sentence. Their friends moved to California. Let's try the proof. Our friends moved to California. Now, remember, it's not going to be necessarily a synonym, the proof. The proof is just a strategy of a way to prove that we're using the correct kind of there. So, if we think about this kind of there, their friends moved to California. We're really talking about people. These people's friends moved. And so people really are symbolic of that word there, and also in the word our. Like our people, our friends moved to California. That's talking about people. Here's the journal entry today that I will not be reading, but read it sometime. It's kind of funny. This journal entry is written from an older student. I believe this student was 8th grade. And they are talking about how they're super annoyed with Facebook posts when people, this one references when girls post pictures saying how ugly they look in a selfie, but they're really fishing for compliments. They want people to say, oh, you look so cute. This person proved theirs all through this journal entry by putting the word our above it. I will read the first sentence. Something I can't stand in life is when I go on my Facebook and I check my newsfeed, and some girls will post a picture of themselves, also known as a selfie, and put as their caption, I look so ugly. I know that it is just their way of asking for attention. So when we insert the word our above it, it still makes sense. So we know we use the correct kind of there. Here's another reminder. Now we have talked about 3 kinds of there. The first one was the contraction. The next one is a bit of a directional term. The last one, this kind of there, T-H-E-I-R, people. Think of people. Now we're going to talk about nouns. This is something you've talked about since early days of elementary school. I'm not going to read this whole slide. I'm going to summarize it a bit. When we're talking about nouns, you might again think, well, this is really a simple thing. But we have a lot of choice when we're doing writing. And when we think of the particular nouns that we want to use, it's super important that we think of what we want our readers to picture. So look at this third bullet point. It talks about, we can be very general when we talk about our nouns, like the word bug, but if we make it more specific and we talk about the roach, and even if we used a descriptive word before roach, that's great, but if we just change that noun from bug to roach, we already know, we can already picture what's happening because of just that noun choice. It's a clearer picture. Each noun is a gift. If we can tap into our readers' background knowledge, that is super important. And people can, when they can visualize it, it helps them as readers. Crafting nouns is also important. So when we even think about the pronouns, when we're using that and when we're using people's names, that is also important for our readers. Our focus phrases. I use nouns to show a picture of people, places, and things. I capitalize proper nouns to show and emphasize the names of people, places, and things. I use plural nouns to show more than one person, place, or thing. And I use collective nouns to name groups of people, places, and things as one. Now it's your turn. You're going to write a journal entry using their, T-H-E-I-R, at least 3 times. Your journal entry will also include, obviously, you can't have a sentence without nouns, so it will include nouns. But think about your noun choice today, and really think about how specific you want to be with those nouns. If you want to challenge yourself today, try to use the other kind of theirs that we've learned, as well as this kind of there today. Because you can prove all of them by now. You have 3 to try to use in your writing, but you have to use T-H-E-I-R at least 3 times. But if you want a challenge, you can try to use the other ones as well. Really have fun challenging yourself today in your journal entry, and I'll see you next time.